And Gab and I, we've been friends for quite some time, and we have some great conversations. And tonight we had a phenomenal conversation. I was like, we have to share this with the world. This is so great to hear. And Gabby is like doing this world tour where she's been like traveling and getting massive insights. And please share with people what you've learned recently. What you told me like 5 minutes ago.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah, sure.
After you.
Well, the reason why we did this was because if you're familiar with Abraham Hicks, I've been following Abraham Hicks or Esther Hicks for a while, and I got this beautiful insight into, or this nudge, this like inspiration to go on a cruise with Abraham. So I flew to Miami from Australia, got on this cruise, spent the week and a bit with Esther Hicks and Abraham Consciousness, and wow, what a beautiful experience. The greatest gift was that before I went, I was like, AJ, because I'm like, well, I asked AJ to come really last minute. This was so last minute. This was a couple of weeks beforehand. I'm like, ooh, let's do this. And AJ says, I'm speaking at this event. I can't come. So I was like, ooh, I'll come and visit you afterwards. What are some questions you'd ask Abraham? And AJ goes, okay, cool. Ask Abraham. And Abraham's like this spiritual master, right? Ask Abraham, what's the path to enlightenment? And how can we manifest stuff even faster? AJ and myself both have made it our mission to help people make their dreams come true. So we're constantly like expanding our ability to serve you so much more. And even when I went into this, like I was thinking of others. So AJ is like, obviously others focused. How can I teach others to manifest even faster and better? So I go in there with these questions and I get all these cool answers back. And then I'm telling AJ, and AJ's like, oh, we've got to go live. So drum roll, do we tell them now, or do we is there more suspense that we keep?
We'll give a backstory. So, Gabby's accomplished a lot through her lifetime. She's a very successful businesswoman. And what I love about Gabby, she's like a female who's like doing big things in this world. And I think like the biggest gift you could give people is like possibility, right? A lot of women say like, oh, how to become a millionaire? How to become this boss lady who takes life by the balls and gets what I want. So the question is like, how do you have it all? How do you have it all, like health, wealth, relationships, happiness, without losing your femininity? That's the big question.
Well, that's a question. Okay,
yes.
That's a totally different thing that I was going to talk about. Okay, if you're all still sitting there going, but how do we reach enlightenment?
No, exactly.
Wait for it. Just wait
so
for it.
There's a lot of women who want to become millionaires, right?
Cool.
Who want to have a big business, who want to have optimal health, who want to have great relationships. And you've achieved that. You've done it, right? So what advice can you give to people that are watching?
Awesome question. I'm glad you asked that question. As I work out the answer, I'm just going to keep saying how awesome it is. Seriously,
yes.
To me, we kind of, especially in the Western world, we've come into a world where we believe that it's either masculine or feminine. That so many women, it's been this male-dominated world for so long. I never saw it that way. However, to me, I really do believe that, when we look at masculine and feminine, when we look at the two different energies, masculine is super, strategic, logical, focused, a hunter energy. When we look at the feminine, it's more creative, it's more flexible, it's more emotional. And when we actually combine these two energies together, wow.
Brutal, yes.
Brutal.
Delicious, like you said.
Delicious. So to me, the answer to that question is, it's actually developing both your left and right brain hemispheres to dance together. It's getting that we have a left and a right brain, a masculine and a feminine, and when we embrace both, and it's not I'm a woman and I have to be this way, or I'm a man and I have to be this way. It's women, if you've spent most of your life developing your right brain, but you lack left brain focus, then if you want to achieve more success, it's intention. Intention is the most powerful creative force in the universe. You can raise your vibration. You can do all this work, mindset-wise, to get yourself into an epic state of being, and you could feel phenomenal. You could feel abundant. But without intention, without focus, you've got nothing to take that energy and drive it into. And so to me, it's this dance, raising your vibration to be a match for your vision, your goals, which means that if you're wanting to, say, call in and attract more money, you've got to get yourself into an abundant vibration. And that's a vibration of appreciation and joy and playfulness. And when you're there and you've got to focus on X amount of millions of dollars, and then you take action towards that in that same state, you do great things. So vice versa though, I think men, if they focus too much without having the flexibility and the creativity of the right brain, they can get too rigid and they can actually make big mistakes in business and in life. They don't see all of it. They're like walking around with these blinkers.
Yes.
And when industries change, when things change around the world, they miss it and they make big mistakes and lose everything.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So Gabby, you're a self-made millionaire as a female, right? And there's a lot of people that are like watching this and they're like, all right, let's talk about the different stages. If it's like a male or a female, they want to break six figures. What advice do you have for them to like break that first $100,000 in their dream business?
I can only share from my experience. So if it relates to you, awesome. Yeah, like please get that.
Yes, it's
To me-
totally from the heart. We just want to serve. That's why I'm asking these
Yeah.
questions. Like, Gabby, you have so much fucking great insight. Share with the people. Like, give them what they need to know.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
To me, honestly though, the reason I did what I did was because I had a burning desire for it. I had something beyond myself. You know, I was born in Poland and it was during communist time. We literally escaped our country, lived in a refugee camp when I was 5 to 6. We came to Australia with nothing. I didn't even speak the language. I spoke Polish and Italian. I could say like yes and no in English. And it was, like that was my reality. I saw my parents work really hard and I saw what they went through to give me the opportunity. So I decided that I'd make them proud. I decided that I'd make it worth their while to give up their country, their language, to sacrifice everything to give me this chance. And I was so driven by making them proud, and the way I thought I could make them proud was to achieve great things and to, and to make something of myself and to make a difference on the planet. And that's what drove me to my six figures. To be honest, it was, I want to make this count. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So that's mine, but it's what's your burning desire?
What's your burning desire?
What's
Yes.
your why?
That's
Like,
powerful,
what's your,
yeah.
and connecting to it all the time. I spent more time connecting to what I wanted than what I didn't. The greatest advice I can give you, and it doesn't even matter where you're wanting to go, it works for everybody. Spend more time dreaming about, thinking about, playing in what it is you want to experience than what you have or where you've been. Does that?
Yeah,
is,
I love
is
that. Love
is
that. Yeah,
cool?
no, I totally agree.
Done.
Frank Barca says
Hey,
she's a
Frank!
millionaire savage.
I love
yes.
you. Frank's
And that's a
one of
rare
my
thing in
awesome
this
clients.
world, right? Like a
Frank,
female,
you should be sleeping.
a female self-made millionaire. That's why we're here. We're having this great conversation. We're at my house. We're talking. We're like, all right, how can we serve people? How can we give them insight, tangible advice to accomplish their goals, right? Because we have goals, whether it's to become a self-made millionaire, to serve the world, to make the world a better place, right? So starting from that, someone's watching this, they're like, I want to help people. I want to make a difference. Where do they start?
Okay, awesome. If you're just starting out, this is what I share with you. Tune in and tap in and maybe even meditate and get yourself into a place where you connect to that greater part of yourself, that part of yourself that reminds you that anything's possible. You know those moments where you feel like anything's possible, and it could be that you're in nature, it could be that you've meditated, it could be, I don't know, it could be that you're spending time with a friend who really backs you. Just put yourself into a state, an environment where you feel connected to that endless possibility in life. Then ask yourself, how can I serve?
Yes.
What can I bring to the table? Where has my life journey taken me?
What can I bring to the table? That's
Yeah.
fucking powerful. Yes, exactly.
And
like,
guess
how can
what?
you serve?
That's
Yes.
it.
Yeah, exactly.
And then whatever you get, take that and go, okay. And sometimes, honestly, the execution of that, for anyone who's new, it could be that you get tight. I call it tight bottom. It's because your bottom gets tight. Because you're
Yeah.
like, ooh, that's really exciting. And then you go, ooh, and your eyes go really wide,
Yes.
and your bottom goes
Tight
really
bottom.
tight. Yeah. And it could be a moment where you've got to step outside your comfort zone and your eyes get really big and your bottom gets really tight. I promise you, if you follow that through, if you take yourself through that point and realize that you actually taking action on whatever this insight is, and seeing that you're safe and seeing that other people get value from it, you'll expand yourself. And from that place, you'll be able to make the next decision. And from that decision, you'll be able to make the next decision. And before you know it, a year from now, you won't even know yourself. You'll be living your purpose, your bliss.
That is so beautiful. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And we discussed like the meaning of life. That's like a very profound conversation. We've known each other for many years. We talk about like so many different concepts, and like we've both like passed the millionaire mark, right? We've accomplished a lot of our dreams, buying our houses and our cars and all these like material possessions. So the question is like, what is the meaning of life, right? So we're living every single day. We've gotten these things, and what more is there, right? So someone's listening right now, they're like, I'm so lost. Gabby and AJ, like, what do I do with my life? Like, I have a lot of things. I have a great relationship. I have a good amount of money. Like, what's beyond this? What's beyond this moment right now?
Do you reckon they're ready?
Yes, I think they're ready for it. I think they're ready for this insight you're going to share with them.
All right, cool. To me, it's funny, we were talking about this before. To me, the meaning of life is having the most freaking phenomenal holiday adventure you'll ever have. I believe that this is the meaning of life. My soul, which is, like, and by the way, like, if this shakes up your belief system, all sweet, like, I'm not,
Just
like,
take what works for you.
Take whatever works
Yeah.
and leave whatever doesn't, right? In my belief system, I believe my soul is eternal. I believe my soul went, you know, just like we have goals, just like we think, oh, I want a house, I want a car, I want a jacket, I want insert, whatever. What happened?
He's gonna read that comment.
AJ, my dream goal is to have a crib like yours. Babe, go for it. You can do it too, honey. But yeah, so, what was I saying? Oh yeah, so I believe that my soul is eternal. I believe that my soul went, oh, I want to manifest a Gabby experience. You know, just like we want to manifest a car or like I said, a house. It went, I want to manifest a Gabby experience. I want to go on a Gabby holiday. It's like hanging out there, you know, in the quantum soup. It's not physical. It's like everything and nothing all at once. And I went, I want to go physical. I want to be Gabby. And it goes, woo! And I'm going to forget most of what I know, you know, so I can have this experience in you. And then bang, here I am, I'm born, and I open my eyes, and I'm experiencing life, and I really truly do believe the meaning of life is remembering that we're here on a friggin' awesome holiday.
Yes.
That what if it was?
Yes.
And we enjoy the moment. So, you know, like all the way up to the manifestation of the goal, we're like excited the whole way through, and we're kind of experiencing it in total presence, in total nowness, in total, like a kid does. Remember what it was like when you were a child before the big people fucked it up?
Oh,
like,
yes.
Yeah.
The pure,
you know,
like purity of like, yes, being a child. Yes.
So good, right?
Yeah.
It's like, ooh, everything was cool. Yeah, that's what I think. I mean, what about you?
No, that's
How
very
would you put
beautiful.
it?
I love it, Gabby. I love how you say it because like Gabby and I, we grew up in like the world of like marketing and sales and like strategy, right? We know so much strategy.
Yeah.
We learned so much. But in order for us to like break through and like achieve great success, we put the strategy aside and we said, what does our heart want? You know, what does the soul want?
Yep.
And all of a sudden like answers started coming. And I think like that great point that you said, like remember who we were before society, the media, our parents fucked it all up. It's like when you go back to that place,
The big people, is it
yes,
called the big people?
like all the answers are there. That's why like we want to like share this with you. Like, you know, we've achieved success of what society deems what is successful, but there's success beyond success, right? Because you know a lot of people that are millionaires and billionaires and they're fucking unhappy. They're so not pleased with their life. They're unfulfilled, right? The secret of success is fulfillment. Success without fulfillment is a waste, right? Because if you're not like happy with what you have, it's like pointless.
Yes,
So the
yes,
biggest
yes,
thing
yes.
that we have to tell you is like, it's not about like a strategy. It's not about like a certain type of like step-by-step process, but it's about how you become in the process, right? Like a frequency. And like we spoke about this.
Totally.
You know,
and it's a new frequency.
Yes.
Think
Yeah.
of it like this, right? Like everything on this planet is vibrational.
Yes.
And everything exists because of the vibrational frequency it has. A table's a table
Uh-huh.
because it's got the coding of table as a vibrational frequency. So if you listen to radio or watch television, I'm going to go with television. If you click on a channel, the reason why you get it is because you're tapping into the frequency and you see that show. And no matter how much you press channel 9 or channel whatever in America, I don't
Exactly.
know, you're not going to get a different movie play than what's on that frequency.
That's such a great point. I speak about that all the time in my seminars because it's like everything you want is the right frequency. If you match the frequency, you get what you desire. I think Einstein had a great quote about that, about like what do you want in life? Financially, health, relationship, happiness. There's a certain frequency, and if you lie on that frequency, you get that exact channel. So, speak about channeling and frequency.
Yeah. Bang, back in the... Yep. Okay, love you. So to me, when I look at fulfillment, I'd reached a level of physical success. So I'd gotten to like the channel of physical success. Number one, all this status and all this, externally.
Wealth.
Yeah. If you looked at me, you would have gone, wow, you're a woman and you're doing this and blah, blah, blah and yada, yada. And especially in the industries I worked in, they were male dominated. Like I was the highest paid, yet I was a woman. I was number one in the country. Like I was achieving things beyond what I was meant to. And the funny part was I'd reached the frequency of the physical results. So I'd tapped into the channel of physical results, but I hadn't gone further. And what happened to me was I had all this stuff on the external and the world's looking at me going, wow. And inside, something was dying and I didn't know what it was. And I went on a quest. And I went on a pretty big quest to find what this was, because I'd been immersed in personal development for so long and used the strategies and strategy on marketing and selling and blah, blah, blah. And then I took a shift, and I took a shift into really embracing spiritual evolution, spiritual growth and learning. Yeah.
Yes, that's
and the missing piece was we are a soul in a physical body having an experience. If you just go physical, you're missing a big part of it. So unless you're taking the soul with you, you're actually not going to get fulfillment. Fulfillment comes from internal work. It's from becoming the version of yourself that remembers that this is meant to be fun. Yeah.
Yes.
And is able to embrace it all and that's internal. That's got nothing to do with external. So it's an internal and external game to me. It's knowing how to it's getting the strategy and the skill set really tight, but it's doing this spiritual, awesome growth work at the same time. And that's when it's really, yes?
No, exactly. And that's the question I have for you. Like in the comments, post what is the secret of fulfillment? What is the secret of happiness? That's the age-old question. Every religion, every philosophy says, this is how to be happy. This is how to get closer to the source. What do you feel is the secret of fulfillment? Because Gabby and I were having a great conversation. We've achieved financial success of reaching $1 million. We've bought our dream houses, bought our dream cars, but obviously there's more beyond that. There's more beyond the material. And that's what we're talking about. What really makes you happy? What really makes you
What makes me happy?
align? Yes. That's the question I have. People listening.
Can I share it? It's pretty
vague. Because Gabby, the whole thing is people say once I reach $1 million, then I'll be happy. Once I achieve my greatest loving relationship, then I'll be happy. Once I have my dream body, 10% body fat, six pack, that's it. Once I reach enlightenment, I've reached it. But what is true fulfillment? What is the secret of having it all?
To me personally,
yes.
Honestly, really, really full disclosure, vulnerability, it's actually creating a relationship with your soul. It's talking to your soul.
Relationship with your soul.
Every single day.
Yeah.
It's hearing your soul speak through you. It's staying in higher vibrations. It's remembering that we are love and bliss and joy and all the good stuff. And yes, every now and then we'll have something piss us off or hurt us. And that's okay to have that experience. It's also really cool to come home again and realize that experience was just a part of the holiday. It was just a part of the journey. To me, true fulfillment comes when we blend with our soul, when we have a spiritual, physical experience. So often, this is what I've seen in the world. This is my perspective, right? So if you agree, sweet. If you don't, I don't like sweet. What I've noticed is there's a spectrum. There's all these people that are living in the physical plane and ignoring the spiritual and kind of making the spiritual fluffy and bad and wrong and yeah. But there's also on the other end of the spectrum all these people in the spiritual plane making the physical wrong. You know, saying money's bad and you know this world's some weird learning experience and we're I don't know like we're being punished here and all sorts of stuff that just makes no sense to me. I really do believe that my life got exquisite when I blended the two, when I chose to not just have one side of it, but to take all of it. To me, it's sort of like if I've got all the colours in the rainbow, why would I just choose half to look at? So to me, I chose to take all the colours of the rainbow, or you know, however you want to put it as a metaphor. And when I blended like spirituality and physicality, what do I want to experience on the physical plane while I'm here? While I remember that I'm spiritual, while I do this work to tap into higher frequencies of feeling alive and happy and self-expressed and enjoying life, and the work's been this. Does that answer your?
It's a great question because like people that are watching right now, and their biggest question, Gabby, is like, you know, once I reach $1 million in my business, once I find that love that leads to my dream family, once I have that amazing health and body, then I'll be happy.
And it's not true.
What do you have about the journey? Because the whole thing is like, you've accomplished it all. You've had $1 million in business. You've had amazing health and the perfect body. You've had happiness. You have had love. But like, what lies beyond that? What lies beyond like all these goals that we have? You know, because we have this sense in human experience that says once I achieve this, then I'll be happy. But what's like the true secret of life of having it all?
Well, to me, it's what's going on inside here. It's funny. Oh, this is cool. So if you've been around personal development and spiritual evolution and predominantly personal development for a while, you would have heard that the 5 people you spend most of your time with make up you. Have you heard that before?
Of course, it is.
Yeah, right?
The 5 people closest to you, they
and so
affect
it's
you.
always drummed into us. Your environment will shape your identity. You know, be mindful who you hang out with because they're going to influence you. Very true. Because we're vibrational beings and whatever vibrations around us can impact us vibrationally. Yeah? So it's totally true. Yet, here's one thing they all overlooked. Who do you spend most of your time with?
So for the people that are like watching, they're like, what the fuck is vibrational beings? Please educate them. Because some people like, what was like you think about vibrators and you know all that stuff, but like
it can be that too. No.
Explain to them what a vibration is, because I think in a layman's term, you know, because the whole thing is people have high vibrations.
What do you mean, AJ? People don't talk like this. Are you saying that just normal
people
don't talk like this?
So, some of my followers are like, what the hell is a vibrational being?
Yeah.
So please explain that to the other person. What's a high vibration? What's a low vibration?
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So what I mean by vibration is, from a vibration perspective, everything vibrates. So literally everything. If you were to look at the world through through quantum physics or the eyes of a quantum physicist, or through physics itself, you'd actually see there are cool little microscopes here that go all the way down to show you what this universe is made of.
Atomic level. Yes.
Yeah. And so when you look at it, everything's made of atoms, and when you go even deeper in, you'll actually see that it's all energy. Now, each single one of these atoms has energy inside it, but it all vibrates at different frequencies, cool? So some of it's vibrating at a really high frequency, and some of it's vibrating more at a dense, lower frequency. Lower frequencies, we experience them as emotions. So if we're vibrating in a lower frequency, we feel sad. We feel
angry.
We can feel
depressed,
angry and revengeful and frustrated and grr. Yeah, like these are actually like lower frequencies, and our atoms that make us up are literally vibrating at that. So think of it like a television channel, yeah, that you're tuning into an angry television show, yeah.
The way I explain to my students is like on a scale of 1 to 10, right? So like 1 or 2 is like depressed, angry, sad. 10 is like enthusiastic, passionate, and present, right?
I like it.
So when you're on a higher frequency, you attract things, right? So some people say like, Well, what about the lower frequencies? Is that like normal? Is it cool to be like angry, sad, and depressed? Like, what are your thoughts on that? If right now someone's watching this and their boyfriend broke up with them and they're going through a death in their family, they're going through a bad vibration, what does that mean?
Well, first up, if that is you and you're going through something pretty crappy right now, love, like so much love to you, and I feel it. I know what it feels like to feel sad, to feel lonely, to go through something, and I may not know what it feels like to go through your thing because that's your unique thing. I want to like give you some love right now. Remember though that these moments can also serve us. I know for myself, some of the hardest things I've gone through in my life have actually been a gift because they've shaped me. They've had me become the version of myself that I am right now. And not all low vibrational things, I don't believe low vibrational things are bad or wrong. In fact, I don't believe anything's right or wrong or bad or good. They're just different vibrations, different channels to tune into, cool? So you could tune into watching a horror movie, or you could tune into watching a comedy movie, or you could tune into a romantic comedy. There's no right or wrong, it's what's your preference. And if you are going through something right now and it's not so lovely, I encourage you to remember that it's just a channel and you can change it, and you've got to find your path to that. And that could be, for me, I'm just going to give you my stuff. So for me, it's breathing. Breath work is it's so simple, it's free, it's powerful, and it's literally letting air fill up your whole body, fill up your lower tummy, and taking deep breaths, conscious breaths. Just focus on your breathing. Often when we stop telling the story in our head and we focus on something else, what it will do is it will lessen the charge. And now you're able to vibrationally go up to the next channel because you're no longer stuck in that frequency. You're not stuck on that channel anymore.
Yes.
So breath work, nature, meditation, putting a comedy on, like literally on your TV, laughing, spending time with loved ones, you know, anything that's going to shift your focus and have you be able to experience a different frequency, because your soul is actually calling you to home, and home is the higher states, but your soul's also not making you bad or wrong for the fact that you've experienced sadness. There's nothing wrong with that. In that sadness, in that relationship, that breakup,
challenge,
whatever challenge you just went through, you learned from that. If you were to honestly, in that moment, ask yourself, what did I learn from this? And if you were to take the learning and implement it, you now know that you won't date a douche like what's his face ever again.
Explain your ex-husband situation, because that's something we're talking about.
I see what you're trying to do.
Because the whole thing is like, you know, sometimes we go through a bad time, right? Like Pat says, we have a choice, right? We have a choice to like tap into the higher frequency or lower frequency, and sometimes you can't control it. Like I'm very big on like personal development and mindset. I have a master's in psychology, but there's certain points in my life where like I can't change it. I can't change my state. I'm depressed, I'm sad, I'm hopeless. And what do? It's like I surrender. I let go. I'm like, okay, well, I'm doing everything I can to try to change my state, but I can't change it. So I just say I let go to this because the universe is teaching me something. It's teaching me to be humble, to see the world through other people's point of view. And like when I am in this lower state, I see my life differently. It's like a learning time, you know? So there's times of like growth and times for reflection, right? Your whole life is based on growth and reflection. There's certain times where you're thriving and you're gaining so much. And there's other times where you have to learn. You have to like be humbled and learn some things about yourself, right? But if you resist it, it keeps coming back to you, right? We've like dated certain people or met certain people and they keep coming back to our life. The same type of person keeps coming back to teach us a lesson. I think the greatest thing is to like understand like every person's a mirror for us, right? Each person teaches us something, right? The great, noble, and type of people teach us the way to look at life. The negative, toxic, evil people teach us how not to be, right?
Yes.
And I'd love to give you insight on like
I love that.
the whole mirror element, right? Because like right now we're a mirror to you. We're having a great conversation. We're talking certain insights that we have, but whatever we're saying is like you're a mirror. Some people are saying like, hell yes, I agree with this. If you agree, give us a thumbs up and a heart, right? But if you're like,
We want the love.
these people are nuts, they're like this on this crazy woo-woo level, I cannot
Thanks,
see the
Frank.
world, we're a mirror too. Whatever we say is a reflection of you.
Yeah, totally. It's funny, you know, because to me, lower vibrational things, so things that exist that don't, basically think of it like this, right? Higher vibration feels good, lower vibration doesn't, period, right? Let's just like get all the detail out of it and leave it at that.
Feelings. It's
Yeah,
about
feelings.
the feels,
Like,
yes.
do you feel good or do you feel not good?
I don't like feeling not
Good, right?
Yeah.
But it also serves, like, I would not be who I am without the stuff I've been through.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't change a thing because, and I've been through stuff, like, you know, goodness, like I lived in a refugee camp. I know what it feels like to be complete poverty. I ran around with shoes 2 sizes too big for me. My parents starved to feed us. I watched my mother turn to a stick figure just to feed us. You know, I've seen poverty. I came to Australia and I was bullied for years, like literally for most of my years in primary school. No one spoke to me. I was called the jinx kid. They wouldn't even sit next to me. If I sat next to someone, I would contaminate the seat and they'd have to like clean it of the coo. Like,
Wow.
I was so
Yeah, cooties.
alone. But
Yes,
you know what's really interesting? In that time, I would go home every single night and I'd stand there in my bedroom in front of my mirror and I would play pretend. I would dress up in my mum's clothes. I still remember I was like, I don't know, like 8 or whatever. I made myself a fake cigarette and I pretended I was Marilyn Monroe and I was pretty and everyone loved me and I had all these friends and I played pretend. I learned how to tap into my imagination. I learned how to spend more time in my imagination than in reality. And do you know what's interesting? Like back then I didn't know what I know about manifestation. Back then I didn't know that if you focus on what you want and spend more time feeling that and playing pretend in that space, you'll actually realize it into physical reality. So literally in grade 6, after a couple of years of going through like not being liked but just living in this world of play pretend, a new girl comes to school called Rebecca. And she's like uber popular instantly. And I get grade 6 is 12 years of age, just so for all the people around the world, because I know it's all different schooling system. So I'm 12 and I've been hated upon. And Rebecca comes to school and she's like super famous instantly, but she doesn't know, she hasn't been clued in on that I'm the jinx kid and that you can't talk to me. And so we're walking home and I'm walking like next to her and we start talking and we like get on. Like, you know how sometimes you meet someone and you feel like you've known them forever?
Connect with them, yes.
Totally.
Yeah.
And we're like, dude, you're cool. And she's like, hey, come to the CNC Music Factory concert with me. And I'm like, yes, this was a while ago.
90s, yes.
And I'm like, yes, you know, and before you know it, we're best friends. And before you know it, I'm like best friends with the most popular girl in school. And before you know it, and before you know it, I'm getting invited to spin the bottle parties. And ever since then, I've never had a problem with friends. Ever since then. But it also like ingrained, it had me master the art of tuning into my, like what I wanted. And since then, you know, I literally took that. I would go, oh, I want that. And I'd spend time dreaming about it, pretending it was real. You know, I'm actually now in the process of looking for a software developer. I'm about to develop a virtual, it's pretty awesome. It's, you know, Google goggles and yep. So we're about to create some virtual technology where you can program in your dreams and goals.
Wow.
Put on some Google goggles and be able to
Visualize it, yeah.
Yeah, walk through to be able to activate the vibrational states. Because that's what I did to achieve a lot of the cool stuff. So to me, even though that was a shitty thing to go through, the gift it gave me was pretty profound. Yeah, so sometimes it's, the biggest question I ask myself is, what's the gift in this? How can I take responsibility for this, for this? How can I learn from this? And just keep going. I'm a growth driven. I'm here to grow. I'm here to have an adventure. I'm expanding. You know, ask better questions when you're in the crappier states.
That's
Boom.
beautiful. Love that.
Boom.
And Karina says, Gabby, earlier today, I watched your interview with AJ from a few months ago.
Yes.
And bam, who you both are.
Woo.
How's that for synchronicity? Yes.
How cool is that?
Yes.
Mwah. Hey, beautiful.
Beautiful. It's all about just
Thanks, Frank.
having a feeling in your heart, and then all of a sudden
Hey, Tanya.
it appears in reality. You know, So to like close things off, Gabby,
Yes.
what is the secret of having it all? Like someone's watching this right now, they're like, I need some wisdom. I'm in a really messed up place in my life. You know?
I think we've given
like,
it up. Okay.
I'm feeling lonely. I'm feeling broke. I'm feeling fat and unhappy with myself. What are some words of wisdom you could impart on me so I could have the things that I want? I want to have more money, more happiness, more love, more health. I want to have it right now. What can you tell me to achieve what I want in my life, Gabby?
Well, first of all, you are beautiful, you are kind, you're important, you are fucking incredible.
You matter.
And you so matter. Without you, this world wouldn't exist. Thank you for being here. And two, do the work, grow. You know, read books, do personal development events, take spiritual events seriously. Like, do the work to become the version of yourself that gets to have everything that you desire. Find people that have what you want to experience next and ask them how they got there and take their guidance. Because if you ask them and they tell you and you don't take their guidance, I assure you they'll stop wanting to guide you after a while. So remember, it's all possible and never give up. Always keep looking. Just keep looking for answers and I promise you they'll show up. Mwah.
I love that. No, thank you. Thank you for your part of that wisdom. You know, like that's such a true statement. It's like every single person you admire, they have results. And you can achieve those results too if you take on their frequency, right? Frequency is their way of thinking, their way of language, their actions. Think, act, and speak as if and you'll become, right?
Totally.
And that's the whole thing. Like anything you want in life is achievable, right? Because we discuss our past and we didn't come from the greatest backgrounds. We came from very disenfranchised beginnings. But we've accomplished a lot because we learned that there is work to do. There's a way of knowing and understanding there's a path, right? There's a path to anything you want. You want to have love, wealth, happiness, health. There's a path. And if you follow the path, you'll get there. Like we're no smarter than you, we're no better than you, but we're just like learning, right? We don't know really
anything,
answers.
like
Yeah.
I can speak for myself. If
Yeah.
anything, I'm probably starting out a lot like worse than you. You know, I literally am an immigrant. I came here with nothing. I couldn't even speak the language.
Same.
I got bullied. Like I did not have in any way, shape, or form an advantage. If anything, I had every disadvantage. And all I did was like just go, it's possible and it has to be, and no matter what, like I will find the answer. And I trusted, like just hold your dream,
Hold your dream,
and
yes.
keep moving forward. And that's it. And I continue to do that. Like that's to me it never ends. There's more cool stuff that I'm now exploring, and there's more impact I want to make on the world. And now I'm going to be like going in and developing, like there's just more stuff that I'm excited about. But it's because, like, to me, the shift is get excited about your dreams as opposed to coming at it from I have to. I'm excited about my dreams. I'm not following any of my dreams because I have to, because I believe that once I get there, it will be better. I know that if I hold that belief, I'm screwed. Because in the past, when I did that, I got there and within 2 weeks, I was miserable because the external thing didn't make me feel internally good. It's an internal game. Feel good now. Do the work to connect to your soul. Do the work to remember that you are incredible now. And so everything will flow.
Yes, okay. yes.
What about you, my love? What would you add? What do you believe? I need to, like, he's asked me all these questions. Do you think it's fair that, you know, he's been like, Gabby. So
I've thought about this for the past few decades, and it's really like the quote that I have behind this camera here. And it is, when you let go, life will just flow, right? There's a higher power, whether it's God, the universe, Krishna, Buddha, Jesus, Muhammad. There's a higher power that wants the best for you.
Yes.
And the more you resist this higher power, the more you fail. The more you just submit and surrender to the higher power, the more it gives you, you know? I truly feel like every element of your life is predestined to be. And the more you accept and surrender to what is, the more things fall into place. Because when you get the inside right, the outside falls into place. So when you say, like, I'm on this amazing ride and everything's happening, this thing, I'm not going to regret it because I'm going to accept it. It happened for a reason. This outcome, I wanted to be a certain way, but it didn't happen the way I wanted it to, but I accept it. And the more you accept, the more you gain, right? Because when you resist, then you fail. You're like, I don't want this to happen. When you resist what is, you feel like shit, right? Simple as that, you suffer. So everything is happening. Just surrender, just let go, right? So behind this screen, it says when you let go, life will just flow. So surrender.
It's holding the phones up,
right?
So I can't show you.
Exactly. Whatever your belief is, the universe, the God, let go and let God. Let go and let the universe take its course, because everything happens. Like we're like talking to you right now. This happened for a reason. You're learning this sentence because you want to learn something, and we're talking about it right now. It's happening in this divine timing. So just take it in and realize that everything in your life is happening for a reason. You're exactly where you need to be. You don't need to be anywhere else. You don't need more money, less body fat, more love. You're exactly where you need to be because life is teaching you the lesson. And just let go. Just surrender to it.
And beyond that, you're on a friggin' holiday. Enjoy it.
Yes.
You know, who cares? Let the changes occur. Change is the only constant. It's always changing. I think when people embrace and have some behavioral flexibility and stop being so controlled,
so
release
controlled,
the control,
yes. Because I
love that.
by this age, I should be married. By this age, I should have kids.
Should you?
By this age, I should be a millionaire. By this age, I should be thin with a six-pack, right?
Like, honestly,
who makes the rules? Yeah.
One of my funnest things is to question freaking everything.
Yeah.
It's like, well, what if that wasn't true? What could be true instead?
Yes.
So much more fun. Anyway.
And the final thought is, like, we have this, like, human condition that, like, when we achieve this goal, then we'll be happy, right? Once we have this amount of money in our bank account, or once we weigh on the scale, then everything will fall into place. But what is the true secret of life? As opposed to, when this happens, then I'll be happy.
Be happy now. You know, it's actually, my message is be, do, have. You can be, do, and have it all. Be the being. Be the being. Then take action. It's always so much more fun because it's inspired. Have you ever noticed that when you're in the vibration, if you're feeling really good and then you're inspired to take action, that action gets you so much more results? Be, do, have. It's never do, have, be. It's never once I do the thing, then I'll have the thing and then I'll be happy. It doesn't work that way. That's not how this universe works. Be what you want to be, then take the action, then have stuff that makes you just go, whoa, that blew my mind. Blew my mind. And I think peace out. Can we peace out?
Yeah, exactly.
Peace
Yeah,
out.
we'll close on that.
Thank you so much for hanging out with us.
Do, have,
baby.
Secret of life.
Yeah.
Simple as that.
AJ, I adore you. Thank you for making me do this.
Yes.
Love you guys. Ciao.
Peace.